Hello and welcome to our exclusive webinar on Golden Visa Portugal, an overview. My name is Afsana Raheem Lakhani, signing in from Lisboa. I'm the moderator for today's evening. This webinar will help you understand the upcoming changes, answer all your queries, and work out optimal route for you. TLG's webinar brings together experts from residency and citizenship sector, property market, and media. The key topics that will be discussed today are investment, Portugal Golden Visa 2022, the details of Golden Visa and its success to date, overview of 2021 real estate market forecast for the year ahead, what makes Portugal the most attractive EU destination amidst the pandemic, impact of the changes in Golden Visa rule on the real estate market. So before we dive into our webinar, let me do a quick temperature check. We will request you to turn your audio and video off at all times. Kindly keep your phones on silent mode to get most out of this webinar. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type it in the comment section. We will leave the time for the questions towards the end. So let us begin by watching a short video on Portugal.
Why do so many investors fall in love with Lisboa? Easy. There's no other city that combines this beautiful view with the beauty of these numbers. Lisboa is the closest European capital to the United States, South America and Africa, with 250 departures every day, and being the only capital in mainland Europe sharing the same time zone with the British capital, with more than 300 days of sunshine throughout the year. Lisboa is surrounded by more than 20 wonderful golf courses, only 4 train stations away from the beach, and just a 1-hour drive from Nazaré, home of the biggest waves on the planet. Selected to be the 2020 European Green Capital, Lisboa transforms ecological concerns into reality, being the first European city to have a municipal fleet where 100% of light vehicles are electric, a huge recharging network with more than 540 stations, and 100% of the city lights running with LED technology. Innovation and adaptation are part of the mindset, with 90 colleges that produce 30,000 graduates a year, with 60% of them in business, tech or math degrees. No wonder Lisboa attracts global investment from all around the globe into our entrepreneurial community, an ecosystem dedicated to helping new businesses where 2 new startups are created every day. With more than 100 co-working spaces spread all over Lisboa, and with a 90-kilometer bike lane that reaches all corners of the city. It's so easy to enjoy the view commuting to work, using one of the 2,150 shared bikes and 5,500 mobility vehicles. How about this? Lisboa is well known as a city that embraces diversity and welcomes all kinds of races, ethnicities, and religious beliefs. All that in a city with 7 Michelin-starred restaurants, and this sunset included. So how about investing in Lisboa? Lisboa, the beautiful side of business.
Thank you so much, team, for projecting that video. As appealing Portugal is in providing the best investment and immigration options, we have our experts to talk more about it. So let us start. We have 2 panelists that I would want to introduce here. We have Susanna Yang, who is a partner at the Golden Portugal, and our panelist, another is Raheem Lakhani, who is the asset manager of the Lakhani Group Capital, SCR SA in Lisbon. So thank you, panelists, for taking time out. Let me give the short introduction for our first panelist here before I hand it over to her. So the first panelist, as I mentioned, is Susanna Yang. Susanna Yang is the partner at the Golden Portugal. The Golden Portugal provides consulting services on immigration to Portugal and investment opportunities under Portugal Golden Visa program. They offer a wide variety of investment products in venture capital funds and real estate investment. They aim to provide a personal touch to the services they provide and work to get the bureaucracy and inefficiency out of the way for them. So let's give the platform to Susanna. Susanna, we're not able to hear you. Maybe if you'd like to mute yourself. No, not yet. Still not able to hear you. Do you want to join from another device, like your phone? So I've sent you a link if you want to join from your phone.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Now?
Is it okay
Yes,
now?
yes.
Great. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah, so I
perfect.
think there's some problem with the setting. Okay, so yeah, I would like to talk about today some of the policy changes that happened earlier this year. So a lot of people, a lot of applicants or future applicants that are interested in the Portugal Golden Visa, they are probably aware of some of the changes, but not exactly doesn't really exactly know what are the details of the changes. So actually, from the beginning of January in 2022, there's a policy changes on on the eligible investment criteria for Portugal Golden Visa. So from the beginning of this year, the fund investment went up from 350 to 500K, but the basic and the foundations of the fund investment remains the same. So there's the benefits of the fund investment, for example, tax exemption from capital gains and income gains are exempted, and also you're able to mix up different mix your investment into different funds. That stays the same, and also the entry cost and exit cost is lower. So those are the main benefits for funds investment. And for property, there are a lot more changes in the policy. So before, actually, everyone can buy any types of property to be eligible for the Portugal Golden Visa. But from this year onwards, there are restrictions that are applied, namely in Lisbon, Porto, and most of the regions in the Algarve and some of the coastal region north of Lisbon. So those areas means you cannot buy pure residential properties for Golden Visa. It means that you can buy shops, you can buy or car parks, warehouse, offices, and another very popular category is the service apartments or service villa. So actually, if you still want to buy properties within this region, you still want to probably want to use it or want to live in it, that's one of the options, and it's very popular among our clients, are the service villa and service apartments. So you can regard it as a residential property. The only difference is that the license is a service instead of a residential license, and a lot of the time they need to provide you services like cleaning, like management. So you cannot rent it out by yourself on an Airbnb. But actually, for a lot of our clients, it's more preferable because it's fully managed, and the client doesn't need to worry about vacancy, about managing the tenants, about managing the properties. So it's a fully managed options. And for clients that wants to do like pure residentials, they can other areas like the more density regions. So the threshold remains the same. Low density is 280, starts from 280 with a 30-year-old property, or 400K when you buy where there's no restrictions. And then in the high density area, the threshold is from 350 for a 30-year-old property to 500 and above where there's no threshold. So the budget stays the same, but there are restrictions on the type of property that you can buy. And I want to also talk about when the clients start to have interest in getting the Portugal Golden Visa, what they need to think about and what they need to prepare for the applications.
First of all, the very important thing, the two foundations that the clients needs to get is their tax ID, which is the NIF, and opening a bank account. So these two are fundamentals to get your Portugal Golden Visa. And we suggest clients to get it ahead of time. So when they find their property that they like, they can immediately do the transaction instead of waiting for 1 or 2 months, because opening a bank account remotely, we can do the tax ID and also the opening of a bank account. But when it's done remotely, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for the bank account to be opened. And so those two are the first key issues that the clients need to take care of, which we can help. And then we usually will talk to clients about the different investment options, so that they could do it in parallel while they get their bank accounts open and so on. And when they see something that they like, either funds or property, they can start the process of the applications. For example, the purchase of the property or the subscriptions of the fund. So because that takes maybe up to 1 to 2 months or even 3 months. It depends on the property itself, the fund subscription procedures. You need to fill in forms, and for property purchase, you need to sign CPCV and then final deed. So that takes about two months or even more. And then after that, we need to select a lawyer. So even before actually, that is one of the first steps, because the lawyer needs to certify a lot of documents for the clients to get the bank account open and to get the NIF. And also the lawyer will be reviewing all the property documents for you to see if it's eligible for the Golden Visa and so on. Of course, we will for us, all the properties that we introduce will be eligible for Golden Visa. So a lawyer is important on these steps. And then after that, in parallel of everything, the client should be getting their personal documents, which includes the criminal records, no criminal records. That's the most important part. And that one is only valid for 3 months. So we will usually tell the clients when they should start applying, because you need to time it properly so it won't expire before you finish your fund subscriptions or your property purchase. And then afterwards, other than that, we need marriage certificate if they have their spouse to be one of their dependents, and birth certificates of their kids if they have, or their own birth certificate if they have their parents as their dependents. So those have a validity of 6 months to 1 year. So they can get it, normally they can get it right from the start, and it's not a problem. After that, the lawyer will be submitting the applications online for the clients. And actually, right now, normally it takes about, like, the whole process from start to finish, it normally takes about 3 months. But if a client is really quick, we have done it, our record is like under 1 month, we can finish everything. But given that the clients already has everything, like actually we also opened a bank account for them, but they have all their personal documents already at that time. So we did it within 1 month, and it was a fund subscription, so it's quicker than property purchase. And after online submission, right now, the clients need to wait for pre-approval. So it's gonna be around maybe 6 months or around 6 months, but it could be longer or shorter, depending on the number of applications at that time. And after that, clients will need to have to wait for the notification from SCF for the biometric appointments. So this is a very important step. So all applicants needs to come to Portugal when they for their biometrics. And right now we're looking into those who have been pre-approved by January this year are ready. They have been notified by SCF to make appointments. So appointment dates are from now until the end of the year. And then maybe the second batch, we're thinking about at the fourth quarter of this year, they will be open for another batch where the people getting approved this year onwards will have their can make their appointments. So after that, the SCF will do the residency, and then you will get your card. And the time starts when you get your card, from the date of the card, and that's where the 5 years counts. Yeah. And then after 2 years of getting your cards, you will have a renewal. And then another 2 years, you will have a renewal. And after 5 years for getting your cards, you're ready to get your permanent residence and your citizenship. And during this time, all you need to do is to stay 14 days for every 2 years. And you're eligible with other criteria to apply for a permanent residency and citizenship. And I think that it's a very, very simple and straightforward process for getting a EU passport. And if there's any questions on the investment options or the procedures on how to apply, we're always here to help you.
All right. Thank you so much, Susanna. That's amazing. The entire process that you've explained is like quite in depth and end to end. And thank you so much for sharing that. Before we go on, I have like some questions. Maybe we can answer those, and some are from like the viewers who are online there. So maybe you can highlight some of these ones as well. So apart
Sure.
from the real estate services that you provide, do you also help them in relocation, and like what other kind of guidance and help do you provide when the clients would want to relocate here after their visa is like sanctioned?
Yeah, actually, we have clients moving in here. So if they don't already have their own, we can help them to find, rent, or buy a properties here. And then we also help them on tax filing as well if they need. We will have accountant refer for them for tax filing, and also if they need to have ideas for school enrollment for the kids as well, we do that. And I think tax is one of some of the big issues. It depends on where they come from. So we would have like tax lawyers if they want to know more about the tax implications. Yeah, about moving here, because we have the NHR, which is all global incomes are tax exempted for 10 years after they become the tax residents. And for pension, it's only 10% tax. We help them to get their NHR status as well. So because we normally are the tax representative of our clients, so we also apply the NHR for them when they come here and live. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing to get to know, and the different kinds of services that holistically you provide. Thank you so much for like sharing that. With regards to like NHR, that gives me an idea that there are so many different kinds of nationality people that come and visit Portugal as well as make investment. So during this, like in this current year, which nationality do you think is like prominent and prominent while applying for golden visa and for buying properties?
Actually, historically, it was Chinese who are the biggest number, and then there was Russian, but now we don't take any Russians anymore. The government, not us, the government has stopped it. But now we're seeing a lot of Americans. I think the inquiries we have like maybe 70% are from Americans. So Americans are the biggest interest, investor of Portugal Golden Visa. But from our point of view, Portugal Golden Visa, with the special advantages of not needing to live here, actually it appeals to all nationalities. So we actually see a lot of different nationalities here, and with all the uncertainties in the world, everybody's looking for plan B. So yeah, we anticipate a lot other people will be looking into the Portugal Golden visa, because still a new thing to a lot of people if they haven't been looking into it. So a lot of people say they have just learned about the Portugal golden visa. They didn't know about it. So I think it's still a new thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, it's up there in the market. However, the awareness is now coming up much more than before. So that's great to know. Yeah. Given that, like, talking about the Americans and so many other nationality people coming here, moving to see the property. However, given the weather, we all know it's like super, super hot here and there are like forest fires and there's so many flight cancellations happening these days. So what is your projection of the month August? How will it look like for the buyers? Do you foresee them traveling, or will they be remotely like viewing the properties?
I think those who have already planned to come, they will come. Yeah, they will come, because those who wanted to come are the ones that are ready to go ahead and to look for the property, like at least once before they make the decision. So, but we still have a lot of some clients that just view like remotely, virtually. We take videos for them and they make the decision there right then and there, because depend like the distance between Portugal and some countries are quite a long distance, so they don't want to make the traveling. So yeah, I think it still happened. It happened a lot last year. This year already a lot of customers are coming in to like physically in Portugal, because last year almost like 90% of our customers were like never came to Portugal for the whole application. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Sorry, too many questions from my end. Thank you so much, Susanna, for being here and answering it patiently. And anything from Raheem that you want to discuss, Raheem, and before we move on to your presentation.
So thank you so much, Susanna, for that excellent presentation. I have a question that is a bit different. You represent many nationalities. You are seeing a lot of traffic coming into Portugal. You're Portuguese yourself. So how do you see Portugal kind of turning into sort of this global hub, so to speak, of nationalities? How do you see Portugal kind of turning, let's say, in the next 2 to 5 years, given that so much investment is coming into the country, given that so many nationalities are coming into the country, like, do you have your viewpoint on this, on where you see Portugal kind of? Will it be kind of a European superpower in the next 5 years? Is it possible, or will it always be this small player in the European Union, when compared to world politics or global economics, right? So what's your take on it?
Actually, some of our clients from the States, especially from California, they were saying Portugal will become the second Silicon Valley. I don't know. That's what they're kind of saying, because we are seeing a lot of them actually moving here. And I think one of the main reasons is of the weather, how they could do remote work, and also the tax benefit. So we see every day different nationalities, different investor coming in. They all have different reasons to come, and but they all love Portugal. When they first visited, they all love Portugal. They want, even if they don't come and stay, like live here right now, they're planning to do that in the future few years. So I think maybe not the short term 2 to 5 years, but definitely the long term. Portugal will grow more and more international, with a lot of different nationalities, and a lot of them, actually, some of them, of course, they're in the maybe coming for retirement, but some of them really want to do business here as well. Yeah, and I think that will give the economy an injections of new energy, new inspirations with different nationalities. Yeah.
Okay, because have you seen in your personal experience where a client has come on a golden visa, or maybe just purely an investment and staying here, a few months of the year? Have you seen in your personal experience, like they've
started a new business here or incorporated companies here? Because golden visa purchase is just one piece of the puzzle. I think the economy, the way that the government probably wants, is not just a physical piece of real estate and their money, but also more to it, right? Like contribution to the economy overall. So, have you seen those case studies where they have, some of them have thriving businesses and stuff, or is it more on the retirement side?
I think it's half and half. Some of them are more on the retirement side, and they're waiting for themselves to be retired to move here. But some of them, they have already moved here and they're looking to start a business. And some of them actually are thinking ahead of time before they get their golden visa. They're already seeing what type of business they can do here, and then what type of developments they can do here as well. And most of them are in the actually real estate industry, and also software and IT industry. Yeah. So I think these two areas will be very strong. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it helps greatly to kind of see, because when someone who is high net worth essentially makes an investment into another country that is unknown to them, do they stop there? Is it just a passport thing, or do they go beyond? In the next 2
I think
to 5
a lot
years?
of them, if they're still young, a lot of them they kind of retired, but they're still in their 40s or something. So they would want to do something. They don't want to just stay on the beach all day. Maybe it's nice for a couple months.
Coconut stands are also a good business.
Yeah.
Right.
No, perfect. Thank you so much, Susanna, for that input.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Susanna, for your presence and sharing your knowledge with us. So I'll now pass on to our final and next panelist. So hold on your seats and get ready for our next panelist in the room, who is Raheem Lakhani, who is here to discuss more about a newly launched 7X fund, the team's track record and its investment strategies. Mr. Raheem is proud to present 25 million euro venture capital fund named as 7X Portugal Fund, which is a golden visa immigration and investment solution managed by the Lakhani Group, capital SER. He's the president and the CEO of the Lakhani Group, also a seasoned real estate investor that owns and operates a multi-million dollar portfolio of properties in Portugal, Canada, USA, and in India, and invest in the market of distressed assets and restructuring of companies in advanced operational stages. Mr. Lakhani holds graduate degree in engineering from University of Waterloo, Canada, and a postgraduate in real estate financing taxation from Institute of Lisbon University. He has worked extensively in European, American, Canadian, and Southeast Asian markets. So, sorry, too much of introductions. I'm going to pause here. So, Raheem, the forum is all yours now.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sana, for that introduction. Really appreciate it. So I'll talk about the investment solutions. Susanna talked about how to actually reach here and the various different options. In fact, the first slide kind of gave you the two different options. And so let's peel the layers through and kind of dig in a little bit more into what those investment solutions look like. And so as a background, we are a family office. We are based in Lisboa, close to the Benfica Stadium is our headquarters. And mainly the businesses that we have are into development, real estate development, either it be development of a building in the downtown core, or it could be a hotel, or it could be a student housing building, or a resort, so or a retail business. So we have many different arms in the family group. We also assist. Our recent venture is also into mortgage financing as well. That is actually the background that we have from our Canadian experiences as well. So again, like I said, it's a family office, and we have 4 partners, as you can see on the screen. It's myself, my wife Afsana, who's leading the sales, Azima, who is the lead on construction and compliance, and Kareem on the accounting and operations of the business. So very well diverse office with various different years of experience in the market. Alongside us, we also have a very strong supervisory board and an advisory board to guide us into the various different ventures that we undertake. So let's give you some solutions. So Golden Visa, as Susanna explained, the solutions that we currently have on the table for you, which is a minimum investment of €500,000 into either purchasing a serviced villa, and which has a commercial zoning. However, you are able to live 365 days of the year, but if you decide to rent it out, the commercial portion kicks in, and you have to go through the management company to actually rent the place out. That's the only literal difference between a residential and a commercial property. So in most cases, especially with the Golden Visa buyers who don't intend to be in the country, this is actually a better solution because you have a very established management team with a lot of staff on site to take care of your property, versus hiring someone who you may know or not know as a property manager, and they may or may not have the experience to run the operations. So we have heard a lot of horror stories on that side as well. So a service concept actually makes a lot more sense for those investors that completely want a hands-off solution and a fixed return guarantee on their investment as well. So that's our solution for the villas. If we can actually show on the screen the project, we can discuss more on that project. And alongside the real estate development project, we also have what we call as 7X, which is a government-approved and authorized investment fund. It's a venture capital fund, which is, according to the more American lingo, it is nothing but a real estate investment trust, where the projects that are being invested into from the investment fund is in operating real estate assets, so hotels, student housing, other retail ventures, and nothing that we don't have prior experiences into. So as a family office, we have invested in different ventures with either our own funds or family and friends or private investors with a joint venture. And through the investment fund, the idea is to simplify the whole joint venturing process and to be able to obtain a golden visa by investing €500,000, which is the minimum. Now, good news for American investors, of course, is that euro is at par at the current moment with USD. And when we started making the investments back in 2018, the investments were from 1 to 1.3 to 1.35. So right now, it's a very, very good time for our American investors to make these investments, because historically speaking, euro has always been, for the last 20 years at least, euro has always trailed and or led, and the USD has always trailed. So given the uncertainty right now, there may be a small momentum and a small gap for those American investors to make these investments and take advantage in the next 5 to 7 years from a strong euro backing. So this is a currency play that you can also do. And now going back into the dynamics of the fund, if we can actually scroll to the slide of the summary of the fund, please. I would love to talk to you about the fund. So, like I said, 500,000. Raheem, can you scroll to the slide, please? 500,000 in the as an investment, and what we do is we offer not a guaranteed, because in Portugal it is not allowed to have a guaranteed yield in the investment fund, but we tell you that this is our target return. And if you look at our previous performance in various different projects, we have always exceeded the threshold of the 7% in our different projects. So not only that you have an yearly dividend into the investment fund, but also a tax-free capital gains free return over a 7-year period as well. Now, this is actually very important and consideration when you compare a real estate project to an investment fund, because during the lifetime of a real estate project, initially you end up paying around 6.5% of the property price to acquire the property. Then you pay a 25% income tax on the income that is obtained during the life of the property. And then in the end, there is another 25% of the profits that you have made as a capital gains tax. So now, of course, you get the benefit of owning the real estate, and you have a strong appreciation of the real estate that you own. But this is where more sophisticated investors come into play, where we encourage you to compare both our offerings. We offer both real estate as well as the investment fund, and more happy to kind of discuss in detail with you. So if you're looking at it from a more diversification perspective, I'd say go for the fund. If you're looking at more of an ownership perspective, let's go for the real estate project. So the solutions do exist. It is now up to you to decide how you would like to make this investment. Okay. What we offer and what our target return is that we have a 30% hurdle rate by investing, which means that over the life of the fund, the first 30% always goes to the investor, and anything after that is a split of 70-30 in the favor of the investor. So this is the mechanics, very simple mechanics of how the investment fund operates. So in a nutshell, the management only makes money if the investor is going to first make the money themselves. Okay, so we do not get any profits as a performance bonus until you've hit your 30% return over a 7-year period. So this is actually a very beneficial tax-free benefit that investors have by investing in a structure like an investment fund versus investing directly into a real estate property. But again, the benefits are on both sides. The cons are on both sides. In the fund, you have to have a commitment of a 7-year term. In the property, you can basically sell the property at any time in between. Let's say, if you have any rush to sell a property, you can sell, but there is a commitment period here. So there are pros and cons on both sides. Let's go to the project aerial view, please. So we can showcase to you the different assets that we invest in. Raheem, please. Perfect. So this project, we call it Quinta de Portugal. This is the project that one of the projects that Susanna was mentioning earlier, which is a serviced villa concept. This is a gated community about 15 minutes away from Lisbon Airport. Within this gated community, we have 36 villas. A majority of it is either reserved or sold, but we still have many villas available for purchase, which is qualified for the Golden Visa. In this community, we have a clubhouse that is to be utilized by everyone as an amenity. Within the clubhouse, you have an event center, you have business conference rooms, you have a restaurant, there is a mini market on site, a pool, an exterior swimming pool. There is an option to have your own private pool as well. We have a tennis and paddle court, a trail running throughout the property. So several features of this property are very useful for those people who come to Portugal, stay here, a short duration, a few months of the year, and then they decide that that they have more financial commitments in their home country, so they travel quite a bit. So this kind of property makes a lot more sense rather than investing into a residential property where you may have restrictions in, if you rent it to a tenant, you rent it to a tenant and that's it, right? So there is no more creativity that is left. In our project, you can stay 3 months if you decide to do that, and you for the rest of the time as well. So there is that flexibility piece that exists within the condominium. Apart from this, there are 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom villas. The villas comes furnished as a base furniture is provided. Basically a key in hand type of concept. It's fully maintained, cleaned as per the Tourism of Portugal law. We provide staff for cleaning and maintenance of the pool, landscaping. So you don't really have that kind of stress to maintain it yourself. So this is a very, very good option. And given that this is only 15 minutes away from Lisbon Airport, the distance to the city center is quite amazing. There are other projects that are 2 hours, 3 hours away from the city that probably are at a lower price, but the distance could become an issue. The resale could become an issue. So there are pros and cons. When you make an investment of $500,000, you are more into the city life. When you make a slightly lower investment, then you are more into the interior of Portugal. So, but there are benefits to both of these. Apart from this, we through the investment fund, we also invest in several different hotel projects, ground up development, student housing projects. So there are many properties that we have lined up for the duration of that 7 years as well. So these are some of the examples that we have, and more than happy to have a chat with anyone who is looking for a golden visa or purely an investment. What we can tell you is that we have had investors who bought early into the Quinta project, and already we are seeing a strong 10 to 15% increase of appreciation even before the possession is given. And our target possession date is next year, and by that time we will see at least a double-digit appreciation for the villa owners without actually getting the possession of the property as well. By the way, the taxes are only due at the deed. So currently, if you are looking for it for an investment, it's only the $500,000 that you have to make an investment, and everything that is due towards the next year when you do the formal deed. But you can still apply for your golden visa and get your approval while the property is being built and being appreciated. Okay? So that's in essence. Back over to you, Afsana, for any questions.
Thank you so much, Raheem, for the presentation and analysis of how investment fund works and what is the comparison. So just curious to know if you can provide a bit of more idea on comparison with the property versus the fund while the golden visa investment happens.
Sorry, you broke in the last second. Could you?
Yeah, sorry, I was just reflecting on the presentation, and if you can provide like a quick comparison between the investment fund option versus the property option. So what is the comparison between the two?
Yeah. The main comparison, like I mentioned, Afsana, is the taxation. So I insist, people who are looking at this as an investment, sit down with us, take an appointment, and we're happy to kind of walk you through the tax savings portion of it. Now, if your requirement is to come and stay here the 7 days of the year, no problem with that. When you invest in our fund, we have hotel projects that are available for you to come and stay for that 7 days per year with your family, and that is an additional bonus. So that is not really an issue. However, the taxation is a big thing that makes a huge difference between the property and the investment fund.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Any questions from Susanna before I ask any other things? All right. So just one last question. Since we have so many different kinds of investment fund in the market, and people come across like so many different things here, and some are reliable, some are not. So why would someone choose 7x over so many multiple funds option
Yeah.
available?
So that's a very good question, actually, and I think you are absolutely right. There are several very creative funds that are out there in its entirety. There are some new players that are in the market. There are some very old players that are in the market. So there's a wide variety, and even though that there is a wide variety, the investment fund space is still a very small space compared to the market of, let's say, London or of Paris. So in Portugal, it's still a very private equity space is still a very small space. The huge difference is record. I think that goes without saying that the track record of the person, where they have invested, who are their partners, who are their lawyers, who are they being advised by, makes a huge difference in where you should make that investment. So when you have this curiosity of making that investment into a fund, speak to the managers, try to understand their background, try to understand their vision of the fund, and I think that will make a huge difference. Uh, the project that we have invested in has made strong returns for our invest, and the type of mindset that we have in terms of investor protection and investor investment appreciation is quite unique when it comes to several of the other asset managers, where the idea is solely just preservation. And in those cases, when there is a hiccup like COVID or something else, you will see a downturn in the market, and we make sure that we place a great amount of effort into planning for these kind of downturns in the market. So this is what makes a huge difference.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And it's towards the end of the webinar time, so I would like to conclude the webinar. So thank you so much, both the panelists, for sharing your knowledge, your thoughts, and your experiences. And thank you so much to the amazing team behind this, making this webinar a great success. So I hope for the viewers, it was an insightful and educational webinar for everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Take
Thank
care.
you. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.